One Jedi Mike here, and I'm back with another video. Today I'm be breaking down the new season of Reacher season 3 on Prime Video. This is gonna be my non-spoiler review of the entire season, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts here right now. Honestly, this show, going from season 1 to season 2, now season 3 of Lee Child's book, I have to say that this show does not stop in terms of momentum of quality. And now that even by the time it's recording, they already announced that they'll be in production for season 4 of this show. So with more Reacher we're getting, the better. I will say that in this season, this takes this entire show to a whole new level. We're going to the new book, The Persuader by Lee Child, and we know the whole story of that. I don't have to go much in detail and everything, but just in terms of the vibes, in terms of these episodes are giving this terms of espionage type of feel to it, which I love. The fact they're taking Reacher into this new path in his story and everything. And I just gotta say, Alan Richardson, he has given the best performance to me. He's given the best performance of this character in this season, because not only that you have the physicality, which is no doubt about that he has it, but also he's not just a big brooding guy. He's also a very intellectual man. And I love the fact that they, just in terms of his portrayal as from Alan Richardson, to me, I've saw a level of range from him that I haven't really seen. I've been waiting to see for him in his career, and finally to see this in this show, I'm just happy to see just now as a fan of him and seeing just the growth as an actor, given his all, but more importantly, a respect to the character. If for any of you guys, the book readers, there are some changes that are happening in this season, but not major, where it's going to be like something completely different, but there are some minor changes from the story from the Persuader book from Reacher, but it does not hinder in any way in terms of narrative and progression they take in this season. But yeah, I really love the fact that they kind of go into this, in espionage. You see more going on undercover and type of story, and that's more of the stories for me that kind of drew me in into the Reacher series. And to me, it's just like when they dive into those themes, it thrives. But yeah, again, with this show, just in terms of the quality that they're doing here on a Prime Video, the quality in this production, again, it's really increasing in terms of their cinematography, the way they're editing, and also more importantly their choreography as well. I enjoy the fact that they are lean more into the action scenes, but also making them more real and human, because I know we've seen a lot of action scenes that have been kind of redundant in films and television, especially in television, and it can come across as cheap, but you don't really see that in here. You see more this type of like rawness to the show, that to me, just as a fan, to get to this third season, I know you won't be disappointed. But we do got some newcomers here. We also have Anthony Michael Hall in here as well, that are very good in this season, as well as Brian T. If you remember from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, when I first saw him, he played character DK. Every time I see him on screen, I'm always just a fan of him. Again, he's always played very interesting characters, and he stands out in terms of his roles that he is in movies and television and stuff. We also get Sonia Cassidy as well, and one thing I like, the fact that they're doing with this show, again, as Reacher, he's not just a person who just stands in an area for a given time. Like, no, he's a nomad. He moves on and go on to the next story and everything. And I like that, because then it also breathes a level of longevity to the character, but also variety in terms of bringing different characters in, and with different stories and everything. So like, yeah, we get some returning characters, but at the same time we get additional to new characters that adds to the story in a unique way. And I felt that with this type of cast here, there's very interesting character dynamics that you'll find in this season that you guys will enjoy. But as I mentioned, in terms of the physicality of this series, you also have Oliver Richards, and I'll just say this: if you follow him on social media, you understand what the story is entailing, with this type of character that he's playing, they do not disappoint in terms of the action here. But again, this season takes more on an emotional level too, because again, it's not just this, Alan Richardson being this brooding guy. You're also seeing his mindset, his being, allowing him to rely on his smarts and everything, which is why literally after this show, I know there's been a lot of talks about him being Batman and everything. I was one of those people like, I don't see it at all. And after this season, I'm like, yep, I can see it. I can definitely see this guy as Batman, as Bruce Wayne. Because there's layers to Bruce Wayne than just the physicality. And if you're a comic reader and obviously like that, you know that those layers, in terms of from a acting standpoint, there's certain actors, that have that type of look. Like obviously, physicality, Alan, he has that, but in terms of how he's gonna give his dramatic performances, not just being dark and brooding, but also intellectual. And times with the be charismatic, but also showing the ways of being the strong man. And I feel that type of archetype of character, unfortunately, Hollywood today has been trying to move away from that, because they think that's some type of image of toxic masculinity and everything. But it's just nice to see that you have a decent character represented, that just being a man, but also a good, decent human being as well, but being a strong leader, a fighter, but also an intellectual man as well. That's well-rounded, and I feel those characters are very important in mainstream media to have. Which is why I know, for me, especially my father, who also come from a military background, that this character is something that we relate to. Just in terms of his mindset and things he goes through, what he represents and what he stands for, right? And again, you get very interesting characters. I mean, I was very, very pleased with Oliver Richards in here. Did not disappoint at all, and you guys will not be disappointed with this. But yeah, I will say that with this season, with 8 episodes that I have seen, I know you guys are in for something very, very interesting. And the first episode will be dropping on February 20th, and I'll be going dive into the show. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share, and let me know your thoughts on Reacher season 3 when it's premiering on Prime Video. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.